And then I'm going to I actually have a little bit of a cough too, so I'm still recovering from
Oh
a
Lord,
cold. So
he's
I
got the
put some
vid.
cough drops right here. Huh?
Go ahead and get over that, man. Get over
Oh yeah. I should be
it.
good to go by the time like your birthday like shindig's going down. So yeah, I
All
should
right,
be good to go.
cool,
I've been
cool.
getting better, so that's good. It's really good.
All right.
Um
Hey, do I sound okay? I sound all right.
yeah, you sound good.
All right.
Uh got Mike.
Yeah, no, no, no. I'm using the mic more now. I don't know. It acts funny with the iPad, but anyway,
Okay.
we're not live yet, are we?
We are actually. We out there. I
My
told you I
bad.
was gonna start early. What the hell? I don't see an
All right.
event for us though. Did you create an event?
Yeah, yeah, something.
I'm not seeing it. Give me a sec. It's not letting me show. There you are. Wednesday doing purpose of theme. Yep, that's it. I don't know why it wasn't showing up earlier.
Yeah.
All
No.
right. I'm just sharing this stuff. I forgot to invite people. So it's been a
Get
busy
them.
last
We'll get
couple of
them on the
weeks.
back end, man. Yeah, because next week
Yeah.
is Thanksgiving, so we'll have another break anyway. So
Yeah.
it's all gravy.
Actually there are a couple people that are interested in going this one, so that's good. We got that going. There's your URL. What else did I want to do? Oh, I wanted to post on Targeted Podcast, and I think we're good to go. Right on time, too. All right. Cool. Welcome to the Targeted Podcast. I'm Sahid. That is Nicholas. We took a week off, right? And as we do,
It's
we got
Saeed's
shit
fault.
to talk about. Huh? Wait, what'd you say?
I said it's Saeed's fault.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. We try to. It's
Life,
all good.
life,
Shit happens.
life,
Shit happens.
life. Yeah,
I
man.
made a man. We wanted to do the Harder They Fall last week, and I didn't have time to like properly because when I watch a movie, I Nicholas, you always do this by the way, because he'll be like, just put it on the background, like while you're working, and I hate doing that, especially as the movie that I'm interested in watching, right? Like I was really
I hear
interested
you. I hear
to
you.
watch this movie. Um,
Because
Not
it's
to
like
mention,
if you watch it while you work, then you're not quite watching it as much. I mean, I
yeah,
do it all the time. But
and this is a
I
movie I
got
think it
three
deserves my
monitors.
yeah, this movie deserves my undivided attention too.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, like I get a lot of pings from work, so it's just it's almost impossible. But yeah, no, yeah, it's for today. We're going to be doing a couple things. Uh, we're going to be talking two major things. We're going to be talking about is the Harder They Fall review. So it's a movie that just came out on Netflix. It's a great movie. Yeah, we're going to be talking about some other kind of smatter of other topics as well. This weekend I was at a wedding, and I was actually standing on the bride's side, so I was a bridesman. So I'll share my
He's
experience
a
with that,
modern man,
and
ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sure Nicholas will have some very nice and thoughtful,
Of course,
very
it's me.
polite
It's me. Of
questions.
course, of
You
course.
know that isn't trying to make fun of me or whatever. I'm sure
Can't even
he'll
say
do that.
that
I'm
with a
sure he'll
straight
be very
face.
nice. Yeah. But yeah. Well, let's talk a couple other things too, because other things are happening too. The Kyle Rittenhouse case, right? So let's start there, right?
Two
With
big
that shit of
trials.
a
Yeah.
like. So I saw a comment on Facebook, right? About like so NPR like posted an article about the case about the judge, and and just some of the foolery that the judge is doing, right? Like throwing out like certain like evidence and like they dropped the gun charge because he said the Wisconsin law was like poorly written apparently. And I think the comment was says the judge is gonna invite Kyle Rittenhouser for like Thanksgiving, like after the trial is done.
May as well. After he gets
Yeah,
off,
I
he's gonna get
mean,
off.
it's just so biased. And it's a joke. If this guy gets off, right, it essentially means that it's not safe to protest, right? So
I also blame it. Yeah, I think it's not. Yes, but I also
yeah,
blame it on the prosecution too. I don't think
yeah,
they didn't do a very good job either because they had a very a key witness up there, and from what I was reading and from what some of the things that I saw, they kind of botched the examination, and the defense kind of just made him worthless almost. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So
Also, he wasn't allowed to be called like he had to be called a victim in like this his trial, and he wasn't. You couldn't allow the people who were killed, the victims, to be called like victims, but they had to be like called rioters or whatnot, right?
and
Um,
he couldn't be
so there's some
called. I
verbiage.
forgot what
There's
he
some
couldn't be
verbiage.
called. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's some verbiage limitations, which is just a joke. Which it's infuriating. What you're saying makes sense though, because for the George Floyd, they put in a lot of work to make
Right.
sure that he got like Derek Chauvin was convicted. Like they put in a lot of work. They had psychiatrists, they had former police commissioners saying this is not what we do. Um,
Exactly.
like they put in a lot of work. It doesn't seem like this much work was put in for this kid.
It was like it was
Um,
a short trial. It seemed very short.
yeah,
This one right here.
yeah. Dude got to pick his own freaking jurors. Mind you,
So okay, so I don't
mind
want to
you,
gloss over that.
yeah.
I don't,
Go
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 ahead.
go go ahead. Go ahead.
My bad. So hold on. So let's take it back to the judge for a second, right? Because
Yeah.
the judge seems to be biased a little bit for sure.
Oh yeah.
He made some comments that were definitely alarming. It's about, I think, something about getting Chinese food or something like that.
Yeah.
One day in one of the cases. So it's like, this is a very sensitive case, and you're making these insensitive comments. So you're already making it seem like, you're not impartial,
The
right? As a
decision is
judge, you're
made. The
supposed to
decision has
be.
been made. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
if
it
like
seems like
if
it's
he
a
does
foregone
get
conclusion.
convicted, he's the judge is going to be the one doing the sentencing, right?
Yes. Yes.
So it's like it's not looking good at all, right?
No, no,
Um,
not for murder. I feel like they may get him for a lesser charge, possibly. But
well,
I feel like
regardless of what the
what
charges
people
they
are
get
trying to get him
him,
to.
yeah, regardless of what the charges are going to get him, right? He's not going to like he's not going to see a case. I mean, he's not going to like the judge will sentence him, right? The judge
Right.
will decide the sentencing, and I'm not expecting it to be a very tough sentencing. If you
No, probably not.
know what I'm saying,
Probably not.
so
But like when he got up there and cried
oh my
and did all
god,
that nonsense, I was like, man, get out
oh
of
my
here.
god,
Get out of here. And then
oh
you
my god.
had
And I
so
saw an
what was
article. It's
fun.
like it's gonna like help for them. Someone made a comment too, like when white guys like crying like on camera, like is it somehow it works, like somehow it works, right?
Exactly.
Like remember the Supreme Court confirmation hearing when
My God.
Brett Kavanaugh was like,
Don't remind me.
really? This is what we're doing now? Like, oh my god.
That's why I posted up that meme on the targeted
Oh yeah,
Instagram
yeah,
page.
yeah,
By the
yeah,
way, if you're
yeah.
not following, go ahead and follow.
Follow.
But that's exactly how Black people are feeling right now. We're like, are you
Yeah,
serious? This dude
yeah,
is
yeah.
crying right now. Like,
Um, a juror also was dismissed in this trial because he made a joke about Jacob Blake. Jacob Blake, who was shot like 9
I
times.
mean, that's what I'm
So,
saying, man. And so you have stuff like that. It's just become a circus. And then so you
it
have
is.
the lottery picking
Yeah.
of the
So,
jurors or whatever. Of course, the one black juror was not picked. So I feel like that was he. So according to the article that I read from, I think it was ABC News or CNN, one of the two. So it wasn't TMZ. I'm not. We're doing some real research here, right?
Yeah.
But the judge does have a history of letting of the jurors being selected by that lottery system. But he, according to him anyway, he's been doing that with allowing the defendant to pick jurors for a while. This isn't the first time that's happened.
Yeah.
Do I think that makes it okay? No, I think that's total bullshit, right?
Yeah.
If you're a juror, you're given jury duty, you're selected to go to a case. I would expect that, I sit through the case, I make a decision. Now all of a sudden I'm hearing like there's always some wrinkle with these cases when something like this happens, right? There's always some wrinkle. First, if it's with the cops, then you're talking about, the immunity that the police inherently have and how hard it is to convict them on anything. Yeah. Now you have this kid who, now all of a sudden they're just allowing these new wrinkles all of a sudden, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just every time I want to follow the case, I want to, understand what's going on, but it's so difficult to do that because it just angers me. It's it's so frustrating. Yeah. So very frustrating, man.
Like even like the judge was like being like very dismissive of evidence because like it was like on a screen or something or like like on his phone. It's like, well, I can't see this. I can't zoom in or out of this. I'm like, what are you doing right now?
He wouldn't let them.
It's 2021.
He wouldn't let them zoom in on the video.
Yeah, it's 2021. Are we kidding me about this? What?
Either we're using the technology or we're not. Right? Like that's what?
Yeah.
So, when I hear things like that, it's like, okay, it's a foregone conclusion. This kid is out. Y'all can expect more protests in your city, right? And God forbid that somebody else decides to drive up from Idaho or something like that because, they want to protect the peace and just drive up with their AR-15. I'm watching the news today, a news clip on YouTube today. There's a guy, his name is, he calls himself Maserati Mike. Rides up to the courthouse, starts pacing back and forth, protesting with his AR-15 in hand. Luckily, the cops came and got him before, something really happened. But I mean, this case, this is the ramifications of this case, right? The potential ramifications of this case. If this kid doesn't, pay for what he's done, people are going to feel
and it's
that much more empowered to go do things like that.
It's the bullshit of the stand your ground law, right? And how it works for certain people, but not for others. Like go back to Florida, right? There's a woman who I didn't fully follow this case, but she was arrested because her ex-boyfriend was attacking her, and she defended herself with a gun, got arrested. But that hasn't always been the case with Florida, right? Like it's really frustrating to kind of see how the law works for some people and not for others. And
exactly,
you see with this case too, right?
You see the same thing over and over.
We've had this conversation about gun control. I won't say I'm immediately like anti-gun. Definitely as a Black man in America trying to protect your family, it makes sense for you to have a gun, right? But it's like I'm definitely for tougher laws against guns. However, I also can't be foolish enough to think that those laws are enforced harder on certain people than others, right? I mean, I feel like if Kyle Rittenhouse was Black, this case would have been done already, I think.
Of course. Right? And he wouldn't have been painted in like such an innocent light, right? Just a young man trying to defend himself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, to your point, I definitely agree. Like, we own a gun, right? Yeah. For home defense. I mean, and the reason why I bought it, home defense, yes, but I had such a fear of guns, right? So I needed to get over that. I needed to understand how they worked and feel comfortable around them, so I don't just spaz out every time I see that. So, and I gotta teach the girls that too, right? I gotta teach them so they're not the same way, so they understand how things work and how they can defend themselves. But Yeah, I didn't want to spend too much time on this, man. But y'all,
Yeah,
y'all follow this. Y'all follow what's happening, man. Because
yeah.
this is ridiculous.
It's gonna the verdict's gonna come out soon this week, I
Yep.
think. Right. So
And trying to get back to the Wild Wild West, pun intended, for our next one, for our next topic.
great transition, actually. Great transition. So yeah, I mean, people were just out here trying to just buy guns, acting like it's gonna be the Wild Wild West. Speaking of Wild Wild West, movie, The Harder They Fall. You know,
Harder
when
they
you think of
fall.
a cowboy movie, you definitely think of usually just a bunch of white guys riding around, right?
Look, I used to
Uh,
watch John Wayne with my dad all the time.
yeah,
There's a movie called The Searchers,
yeah,
and racist. I mean, I go back now; it's extremely racist,
of
right?
course, of
But
course.
it was. I mean, it was funny. It was it was a western. It was funny. It was a
At its
for
time,
its
yeah,
time. It was a decent flick or whatever. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
I remember watching The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly with Clint Eastwood, right? Classic.
Fistful of Dollars was another one
Yes,
that I like too with him.
yes,
Clint
yes.
has some good ones, man.
Yeah. So so Netflix, this movie's on Netflix. It's called The Harder They Fall. Um, and I'm happy I got to watch it, undivided attention and everything. My younger brother actually suggested that I watch it.
Mm-hmm.
So and let me tell you, it was a great movie. So I am extremely happy that I had the chance to watch it, and I can't wait to be talking to you guys about it. I'm actually trying to pull up like my articles that I was reading up. I mean, I say
Yeah.
articles. It was really a bunch of like Wikipedia posts.
Oh,
Um,
that's a great source. Great source.
hey,
So
it's not the source of misinformation that we're
true.
seeing with like all the other shit. I mean, don't sleep on mix on Wikipedia now. I'm just saying.
So
Yeah,
this is the one thing I like about The Heart of They Falls, that in the beginning of
yeah,
the movie, the message is clear, right? Like, we Black people, we were in the Wild West too, right?
yeah,
And I really like how they said these people existed.
yep.
I really like that. It really hit home for me. The one thing I didn't like about it was the liberties that they took with the characters, right? I'm like, why couldn't you
Took a
tell
lot of liberties with these
the
characters.
real story? But then at the same time, I kind of appreciated that too, because it's like, if these people really were there, it immediately made me go like, okay, who was this person really? Who was this
Yeah,
person really, right?
yeah,
And come to find out, one of the characters, Jim Beckworth, um, he was like a
yeah,
mountaineer or whatever, right? And
yeah,
in real life and explore in real life.
yeah. A
My
lot of these
dad,
guys weren't outlaws. Some of them
no,
weren't actual outlaws.
yeah,
Like,
no.
so I mean,
One guy was like
everybody
a
just
rodeo guy, but Jim Beckworth, like I had to do. My dad made me do a report on him in school, right? It was
really
it was one of these things where
okay.
like you had to dress up like somebody and come do a report. And
Yeah,
my dad like just insisted, yo, I want you to look up Jim Beckworth, read about Jim Beckworth. You're gonna do Jim Beckworth. I was like, fine, you know what I mean? Because
yeah,
and honestly, like if he hadn't selected him, right, I probably would have did. We were talking about Wild West people. I'm in school, so we're not learning about anybody Black. So I probably would have just picked Jesse James
yep. Jesse
or Billy the
James.
Kid or somebody, somebody that
Yeah,
you always learn about. Again, and this goes back to the schooling. You're always learning about the same stuff. You're never learning
yep.
about any other history except for, the one they want you to know. So I now, back
Which
then
is
I
not
didn't
critical race
understand it.
theory.
No, this is real history. But I didn't
Yeah,
understand at the time, but now I understand why he insisted on me researching this particular person, right?
uh-huh.
And again, this goes to show, like, if you're not, if you don't take the lead to try to learn something, then you'll never know.
No,
So
no, you're
I'm glad
absolutely
Jim
right.
Beckworth was in
And
there.
unfortunately, Jim Brentford kind of went out like a punk in a movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of messed up. Let's talk about some of these characters,
That
though.
was
Let's
funny to
talk
me though.
about Nat Love, right? So played by
Deadwood
Jonathan
Dick,
Majors.
aka Deadwood Dick.
Yeah, that was
That's his
actually
name.
yeah. I did read that. Um,
Wrote his own autobiography.
nice. Did you put the thumbs up by accident?
No. Dude, I didn't even touch my screen. Did you do that?
Motherfucker thumbs up himself. Like he's like
Somebody
nailed it.
give me a like. That's awesome.
Thumbed up
Automatic.
himself.
Oh, that's dope. So I just got a message. I don't know if it's the iPad app or not, right? But it's automatic reactions. So because I raised my hand as I said that, then I gave myself a thumbs up.
Oh, I can't
I
do it
like
with
that.
mine because
Way to go, Zoom.
I can't do that because I have Windows.
You're lame. All right, so the thumb will stay.
Take that shit away. It's distracting. Let's put a black thumb up there. Come on, man. Oh,
Look, I haven't had the chance to download the Black.
look at me have this shit.
Right.
Yeah. So no, Jonathan Majors was playing Nat Love. So Deadwood Dick,
AKA Deadwood Dick.
Yeah. So former slave, it's one of the heroes of the Old West. So yeah, one of like played by one of my more favorite quickly becoming one of my favorite actors, Jonathan Majors.
Yes.
He's in a lot
that's
of
a
stuff.
bad boy right there. Yes.
Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff. He hosted Saturday Night Live recently, and
you still watch that?
I actually still I watched the clips on it. It's funny. It's funny. I think it's good.
Sometimes I kind of fell out of that one.
Yeah, no, I like the Weekend Update. I like when they do like the switch and they like make the calling like say like racial stuff. It's actually hilarious. But anyway, then they had Idris Elba, right? Rufus Buck, which when I looked it up a little bit, they didn't have anything specifically on Rufus Buck, but they had it on the Rufus Buck gang, right? And I read up about them.
No. I found the article on Rufus Buck.
Oh, let's hear about it. The Rufus, from what I read from the Rufus Buck gang was like, well, fuck these guys. Like,
you have to understand, right? You have to understand.
Yeah, go ahead.
History in that time, the way they were characterized of black criminals, way different than the way that they would characterize a white criminal, right? So if you just read whatever, like they're just gonna be like, this guy was like the worst person of all time. He raped, killed, pillaged, blah 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 blah. But when you do a little bit more digging, I found a really interesting article that was saying, how Idris Elba was like, he played an older version of the character. This kid, he was dead at 21, right?
Oh, yeah.
And
the Rufus Buck game only lasts like a year too, by the way.
Yeah, his crime spree was real short. They started off doing like some robberies and things like that. And then he went on, they got a little bit darker. He did, he definitely killed some people, raped 2 or 3 women or something like that. But there's just a difference between, and I'm not trying to make it seem like he didn't do anything, right? Because what he did was horrible. But it's just like, if you just read like some general stuff, it'd be like, he just went on this crazy killing and raping spree for years, and he just, this guy was just evil. But it was more along the lines of like, they were doing some small petty crimes, and then it progressed to something else. It was like he got angry or something like that, and he was trying to, prove a point. So yeah, he was, they hung him by the time he was 21 years old. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
So
yeah.
And then when I saw his picture, I think he was part Indian, part half Indian, half black or whatever. So definitely a lot different than I expected.
Cherokee Bill was like that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll talk about him later. I want to talk about Zazie Beetz. I'm sure I just beautiful.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
Beautiful actress.
Right? I remember her from Game of Thrones and Fast and Furious, right?
No, that's not her. Not her at all. She played Domino in I'm
thinking of the other girl. That's right.
You're thinking of the other girl. She's also beautiful, but yeah.
Stagecoach Mary. Yeah.
Yeah. So Zazie Beetz, right? And so yeah, very beautiful actress. and which did not depict her character like in real life. So I did do some reading on Stagecoach Mary before I came on. But yes,
Not even
it was
close.
huh?
I said not even close.
Yeah, not even close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
The only similarity is that she did own businesses.
yes. So she did
Um,
own a saloon, right?
right.
She owned a saloon. That saloon went out of business because she was freeing like she was like giving food to people, right? It only lasted like 10 months.
Yep.
She got her name Stagecoach because she was actually one of the first African American female stagecoach carriers for the U.S.
Postal carrier.
Um,
Yep.
postal carrier, right? And she would carry guns and just to kind of protect herself
Mm-hmm. That was you
from.
didn't want to mess with her.
Yeah, she defended herself, right?
Yeah.
She was actually kicked out of a convent because uh, she the way she like spoke, right? So one thing I
Mm.
thought was pretty interesting was just reading the story about her a little bit is that she went to like her like early life before she became like Stagecoach Mary. She was a freed slave, like worked for like a mistress for a while and went up to like a convent, and they called her I think the White Crow or something. The
Hmm.
convent or the school is for Native Americans. Yeah, it's called they call it the White Crow because she acts like a white person but has black skin. Um,
Okay.
is the reasoning right? Yeah. Um, and like apparently like she like talked shit to like just some male subordinates and like the bishop like barred her and she ended up like becoming Stagecoach Mary, doing all that stuff. So I thought that was amazing. um
Another one who I thought had an interesting story was Cuffy, right?
Coffee, that's
She
another one.
is
So
based on
modeled
a
after the
woman named
actress modeled after Kathy Williams. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. I was about to say the same thing.
Yeah.
She was modeled after Kathy, who actually did dress up as a man and to enter the military. So I thought that was
Mm-hmm.
interesting too. Yeah, I mean it's some I love the characters in there. I love how they set up the rivalry in the movie between Buck and Love. And then I thought, I mean, when I thought about it at the end of the movie, I was like, I should have seen that coming a mile away. But by the end of the movie, sorry, spoiler alert, right? When you find out they're brothers, I was like, what?
Yeah.
But I should have
I was
saw it
kind of
coming.
like, I was kind of like, I was kind of like, I should have saw this coming. Yeah, I'm with you. That's like, I probably should have saw this coming because they never actually explained why he just goes in and just like shoots and kills. It's still fucked up though. Like, I understand you killing the dad, but the wife, really? Um,
Well, I mean, you know what? I can understand that actually.
nah, I'm sorry.
I
And
mean,
then,
look, you went and found somebody else, right? So it's like, I'm
yeah,
gonna take it all. You know what I mean?
yeah. Let's talk about a little bit too about Joe Buck. So the Joe Buck gang was a multiracial gang, and the guy that had the scorpion on his hand, right, was Mexican. So I thought that was actually pretty
Yep.
interesting how they played that part in that as
Mm,
well. Regina King, uh,
Trudy.
as Trudy Treacherous Smith,
Ooh, she
right?
was ruthless.
She was ruthless in the show. They don't have a lot about her in real life, but apparently the backstory is mostly true about so what she gave in the show or in the movie about the like her sister having polio and actually killing someone who was making fun of him. Apparently that was true, right? Um, at least according to like the freaking YouTube video I saw. So, so take
All right.
that for
It's all
what
right.
it's worth.
It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah.
I won't, you know,
Yeah. I mean, I got to put that out there, right? Like, yeah,
according to
like,
YouTube.
well, at least I try to be honest about it, right? Um, so yeah, that's a good one. Daryl Lilino, right, as Bass Reeves, right? So one of the
Yeah.
first, so he played the lawman, right? The marshal. Well, not the marshal, but
He was a
um,
marshal.
he was a
Yeah.
marshal. Well, I know he's a
Yeah.
law enforcement officer, right?
Yeah.
So Cuffy becomes his deputy afterwards, right? Um,
Mm.
so as you said, like she dressed up as a man and was one of the first African American female, like in I think it's in the military, right? I
Yeah,
think
she
she
was
was
in
in
the
the military.
military. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, but Delroy Lindo, so Bass Reeves, one of the first lawmen in the South. Um, he was actually accused of like murder, but because he had such a great like record, and he gave like a stiff like it was an accidental like murdering, like he was let off. Um, so yeah, he
Well,
had
word
a
is that they based the Lone Ranger character on him
really
because of his stellar record, because of his ability, basically, hunting down criminals and stuff. Yeah, I hear
yeah
that his story is the basis for the Lone Ranger. Yeah,
yeah. So Lakeith Stanfield, Cherokee Bill, this guy.
Cherokee Bill.
I actually liked his character a little bit, and I
I
think
did.
that actor is very underrated. To be honest with you, like he's in a
I don't.
lot of stuff.
I don't
He's in
think he's
a
underrated at all. People know he's got skills.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, but he's in a lot of stuff. He should be. I mean, I feel like they should have got him in a Marvel movie or something. I don't know. So
I
like
don't think
DC,
he. I mean, some people just like those like more complex roles, right? I think he's just one of those people who likes more like the artsy type.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know what opportunities he's been available to, but he's a great actor.
Yeah, I like him.
So I like him a lot. I like this character. Um,
So that's one
it
thing.
was
The one of the
very
things that I liked was the rivalry between him and it was Jim
Beckworth.
Beckworth. Him and
Yeah,
Jim
Beckworth.
Beckworth. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
thought
wasn't
that
much of
was
a
funny.
rivalry though.
Well, yeah, the way it played out was funny too, right? It was kind of
Yeah,
anticlimactic, but because
yeah,
Jim was talking all that stuff.
yeah. He's like 1, 2, 3, boom. I saw that coming a mile away. She's like, bro, bro.
Too confident, man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, no. So yeah, he was shrewd though, right? He was very, very shrewd.
Yeah.
Um, so like he wouldn't mind shooting people in the back. Shooting people in the
Did
leg
not
just to
care.
get the job done, right?
Yeah,
Did
yeah,
not give a shit. And I thought it was actually pretty appropriate that Kathy killed him in the
yeah,
end,
yeah.
which is I thought was pretty interesting because he actually quick drawed her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he didn't do it to the rest of them, right? He shot Joe Buck in the face on 3, shot an old dude in the back, um, like, and then she was
Yep.
like, "Well, you're not gonna like quick draw?" And they tried to quick draw, and she was like, "Damn." I thought that was also interesting
And then
too.
then she
But
said that she was like Cheetah is faster, right? She was talking
oh, you
about
said
Jim.
she said Beckworth was faster.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she said Beckworth faster. What I thought was interesting though was, well, one thing. Okay, 2 things. Number one, when Beckworth is like bragging about like how fast he is, she goes, "I know someone. I've seen someone who's faster." And he goes, "Who?" She goes, "I see him in the mirror every day, like in the mirror, like me, right?" She
She
proved
wasn't
it at the end of the
lying.
movie, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, so yeah, I thought that was actually um pretty cool. So love that. Bill Peckett. I did not read much about him. Uh, what do you got? So he was actually played by, whoops,
Bill Peckett, you
um,
said?
um, Ide. So this is an actor. I remember him because he played in X-Men First Class. Um,
Oh, that guy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. He was the first black guy. He was the first guy that was killed. Black guy, first guy being killed in that movie. Which love that movie, but that fucking sucks.
He was a Wild West performer.
Oh yes, yeah,
He was the rodeo guy. Yeah, and that's something
yeah,
until I watched this movie, right? I didn't realize that there's a lot of like black people in the rodeo. Like you would know,
yeah,
but there's a lot of that.
yeah, yeah. No, absolutely, absolutely. Um, so yeah, that's actually pretty cool. I enjoyed the movie. It's a great. If you haven't watched it, definitely watch it. Um, so I will do want to point out there are a couple of like of Easter eggs. So at the very beginning of the movie, um, like this train that they stopped, right? When Regina King's character, oh, we didn't talk about Trudy Smith. We need to talk more about her. But so when Regina King's character walked by the train was called C.A. Bozeman, and named for Chadwick Boseman, right?
Mm,
Right.
okay.
So that's also so it's a shout out to Chadwick Boseman, right? Um, something else that was kind of put inside the show. So the town of Redwood, right? There are a lot of different shops there, right?
Right.
One of the shops is called Carter and Carter's, right? Which stands for Mr. and Mrs. Carter, Sean Carter and Beyonce Knowles Carter,
Oh
right?
man, dang.
So
Okay.
yeah, so Sean Carter or Jay Z was one of the producers of the show, right?
Yeah.
Um, and there are lots of other Easter eggs too. There was one that I read up about they showed like a guy in a coffin, and that was kind of a throwback to one of Morgan Freeman's old characters. I forgot exactly which one it was um, for that. But yeah, there's a lot of little smattering of like of little nuance there, which I thought was actually pretty cool.
That is
Um,
interesting.
yeah. The cup that was just kind of not. This is not a great one, but apparently Jonathan Majors likes to travel with a cup for some reason, and that cup was used in the movie. Uh, so
Dude,
I
you
don't
know
know the
what?
story, but go ahead.
Um, it's funny. So I'm randomly watching some stuff on YouTube, right? And there's a set called like GQ, like top 10 things I can't
Yeah,
be without. Jonathan Majors is on this particular video, right? And in the video, he points out the cup. And he says that I guess he just likes things that are like vintage and
yeah,
artistic, right? So he had the cup made and now he just carries it with him everywhere he goes. He was just like he just felt like it's unique and
yeah.
this is, I'm always with it.
And they used it in the show. Oh,
So they
okay.
use
So
it in the
they used it in
movie.
the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, which I thought was pretty cool. Let's talk about Regina King. Great, phenomenal actress, Regina King. I cannot believe he didn't give her enough things.
Oh yeah.
So, love
I feel like
Regina
they set
King.
her up for a sequel, right?
They did.
Because they
They
leave
did.
Stagecoach Mary and Nat leave, and then you see her. I thought, dude, after that fight, which was epic, but that's one of the best. I
Oh,
mean, that was the epic
the
fight.
music was great. The music was great throughout the whole
Oh yeah,
movie.
yeah. Music was
Uh,
off the chain.
that
Yeah.
fight, that fight, was called Let's Go" by Fela Kuti. So Fela Kuti is a
Mm,
Nigerian artist, older artist. I grew up listening to him because my
oh
parents
wow.
would play him on the cassette tapes. So I was
All right.
actually I don't know if I recognize that exact rendition of the song, but I definitely recognize the words. It's just me just growing up. So two, some of the artists like I grew up like listening to because my parents like listening to Fela
Mm-hmm.
Kuti, Bob Marley, and you're gonna laugh at this one, MC Hammer. um, yeah,
Okay. I'm
they
not
like
mad at that.
they like the one song. That's why we pray, pray when we pray, pray.
Hey, I
We
had
got to
the
pray just to make it today. They love
don't
that
hurt
song.
hammer, please hammer, don't hurt him tape. I know about that giant.
Yeah.
But
So
that fight was epic. Like and I thought Stagecoach Mary was getting her ass beat until she found that iron or whatever it was to hit her
yeah,
across the face with.
yeah.
So
I'm
I thought
disappointed
it was
that she
over.
didn't kill her, but at the same time, I guess Regina
She
King
probably
deserves
thought she did.
yeah. I'm surprised she didn't. Like you had a gun. One more. Call it what is it called? Double shot or something like yeah. Make sure she's dead. Put a bullet in her. Make sure she's gone for sure.
I mean, if I
So
hit you as hard as I could with what she hit that lady with, I would have thought you were dead too. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you saw the spray of blood too, right? So
Well, I'm talking about, I was gonna say double tap. That's the term is. Double tap. Second shot. make sure they're gone for sure. Right?
So one other thing that that the movie made me do was just look up the word cowboy, right?
Yeah.
Because cowboy is it's always associated with, you know, when in the westerns it's usually associated with like a white guy out on the range, out on the ranch. He's got his cattle, he's got his, you know, his lady, whatever. That's just the way Hollywood has depicted it. But when I was looking it up, you know, the word cowboy is actually derived from a Spanish word for an individual who manages cattle, vaquero. I'm probably saying it wrong or whatever, right? And so, you know, that was like as folks came up from Mexico, those were, you know, what they called those people who manage cattle. But then when I was looking at how the word was used here in the States, originally, at least according to the site that I went to, white cowboys were known as cowhands, while black cowboys were referred to as, you know, well, African Americans were referred to as cowboys. And boy came from just African American men always being called boy instead of, you know, regardless of their age, just called boy because it's like a derogatory term, you know, to make you feel, you know, less than a man or whatever. So cowboy. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Good story. Yeah. I love how this movie makes you do more research.
Love that, man.
Which is what I like about this kind of movie. This is why I wanted to watch this movie with undivided attention. It deserves my undivided attention. So true. Definitely wanted to watch this movie. My internet's being a little weird right now, and I'm watching like the live stream, and it's kind of being odd. So forgive me. I forgot to like link up like
about to skip out. Like, got
it. Well, I forgot to link up my like my Ethernet when I started. So it's all good. We'll make it. Anything else you want to cover with this movie?
No, I just think that it was, you know, not only did it make me go back and look up stuff and you know, just to have a general interest in the characters, I just thought it was a really good movie, man. Like it was a really good movie. The music, like you said, the music did a great job of setting the tone.
Yeah.
It wasn't your typical Western music. You know, when you think of a Western, you think of a certain type of music usually. Yeah. I thought the music was great. Yeah. I liked how they, you know, set up the towns. I liked how what I thought was interesting too is when Cuffy and Nat Love went to that town to rob the bank. It was a white town. So the way they did it in the movie was everything in the town was white. All the buildings were white. The streets were white. Everything was white to underscore that, which I thought was funny. And then the interaction that they had with the people in the bank. I was cracking up because it seems ridiculous to somebody watching it now, but I mean, in those times, hell, they might have been shot on sight just for even walking into the town. You know what I'm saying? So, let alone having a horse, right?
Yeah.
So, it was a good movie.
Talking Cuffy's about Cuffy, the way they changed when she changed, right? A little uncomfortable a little bit because you changed in front of the guy. He's like, oh, I thought I fell in love with the dude. You're like, you're like, wait, what?
That was funny.
What? Yeah. No, I thought that was actually a pretty interesting story. So yeah, no. Really excited about that. So no, definitely go watch the movie. I'll probably watch it again. I might just get the soundtrack, to be honest with you.
Definitely gonna listen to the soundtrack. Definitely gonna watch it again. I'm about to watch Shang-Chi again too. That's on Disney.
I actually watched that again recently. I think when I got back from like the wedding and I was still recovering, I think I just watched it. Yeah, great. That's another good movie. Another really good movie. So yeah. What else did you say we want to talk about?
So I mean, I got stuff, but it depends on if you want to dive into your time as a bridesmaid.
No, we'll leave that for last. I'm sure you'll have a lot of insightful thoughts and opinions on that.
Of course, always,
Um,
always.
yeah, whatever. So let's talk. You want to talk MJ Pippen though, right?
Yeah, man. It's
So
sad. So you saw The Last Dance, right?
yes, is this the last
I
dance?
I think
Uh, I
we
did.
talk.
I did hear that Pippen was not happy about the last dance, and Pippen's been on like a warpath recently. Like he's been
That's my
after.
that's my point.
So okay, so that's what you're
Yeah,
trying to make. Pippen's been on a
yeah.
warpath.
So you watched The Last Dance, which I thought was a great documentary, and here comes Pippen years later talking about how he was upset after he watched it, basically about the way he was portrayed in the documentary, which I mean, obviously I'm not him, right? But as someone who's watching, I didn't think he was portrayed in a bad light. It was
Well,
just
they
it
showed
was
his
just
contract situation, right? Which he paid, like he was way underpaid for his contract, right? Because he
right.
accepted
So
like
I mean, to me, that highlights how you were underpaid, right?
yeah.
And then Jordan gave his opinion. It's Jordan's opinion on what happened with the season that he was out playing baseball, and Pippen like wasn't given the last shot, and then there was something else with like his surgery or whatever, right?
Mhm.
But again, like it's his opinion. And then it seemed like Pippen is also upset because he felt like he was used as a prop. But Jordan
Yeah.
gave him credit for being like the best teammate he ever had, right? So fast forward to now, Pippen has, because he's mad, it's clear because he's mad, he's written this tell-all book, right?
Oh, I did not hear about this.
And he's written
Shit.
this book. Right,
Oh,
exactly.
okay.
So, and now he's doing the rounds on the media circuit, just basically like talking all this shit about Jordan. He's downplaying the flu game now. Talking about how he had a bad back. So, what would you rather play with, a bad back or the flu? People play sick all the time. So he's like downplaying stuff like that.
Just angry.
Um, just saying all sorts of stuff. You know what I mean? Saying how Jordan
He
put it
called
out.
Phil Jackson a racist.
Yes, because he gave Tony Kukoc the last shot in that
Yeah.
game.
He also mentioned
Something.
what he did to Camille Anthony, which was fucked up, by the way.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I don't think it warrants him to be a racist. But yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I don't know, but I'm just like, he's just making the rounds, like saying all this like stuff to just, it's clickbaity stuff. It's stuff to,
yeah.
to grab headlines and help him sell his book. So, I mean, to me, that just makes you look like, just like a two-face, right? You just,
Yeah.
you've been smiling in Jordan's face all these years or whatever. Now, because you're upset about a documentary, now you're coming out, you write a book, and to help sell the book, now you're saying all this stuff, discounting the flu game, trying to break down the legend and all this type of stuff. It's like, dude, just prop
Well,
your own self up, right?
he's had a rough couple of years too. So because he went through a divorce, and that was a lot, right? That was a lot that he went through with his divorce, right? I know he's went through some financial problems too. So yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
they're taking advantage of
You
that.
know,
So
but this the documentary was recorded in 98, right?
yeah,
Before it came out, years before it came out is when they did the interviews for the teammates and stuff like that for the documentary. So you had some time. You had to
yeah.
have had some idea of what was going in the documentary. So it's clear like why you're
Sure.
making all these comments though.
Sure. I mean, it's hard to say because you never know what they cut and what they don't cut, right? I suppose. So, I mean, I don't know. It's hard for us to like outside looking in, see if he's justified with like his anger and hate, right? I definitely don't want to be to look down on him. Maybe he does have the right to be angry. And Michael Jordan admits himself he's an asshole, right? So, like, Michael Jordan admit that himself. So, yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, to me, it's
I
like
find
if that was your man, like y'all was teammates all this time, y'all was like doing all this stuff together for all these years, right? if you were really mad, it's like me and you right now. Like let's say somehow like the podcast blows up and then you go on to do whatever to make a documentary. It's like, yeah, you say something that pisses me off. I'm going to come and talk to you about it. I'm not going to just like run out to TMZ and be like, well, you know what? So he was always late and didn't do this, didn't do that. Sure, all this type of stuff. He was a bridesmaid in the wedding. Like he shouldn't have been in the wedding in the first place or something like that, right?
Damn.
Like, but that's not, if even we don't have to be best friends, but like, man to man, that's something that, you go talk to him about. Like, because you could, if I have a real conversation with you about it, then that could make it so that you come out publicly and be like, you know what, the way I portrayed some things wasn't right. And, maybe, we hash it out publicly or whatever, you know what I mean? Well, not just running around like spreading rumors and trying to break shit down. You just look mad. It doesn't even matter if what you're saying is true. You just look petty.
Just keep in mind too, Kobe and Shaq had a feud for years as well, and they won 3 championships together, right? So things are not always what they seem. Now, mind you, Shaq kind of went after Kobe in public a few times, right?
Yeah, but they had a feud for years, right?
Yeah.
But that the fact that they were feuding like leaked out, right? It's inevitable that stuff like that is going to leak out. Like if you don't like somebody like that and you're in the public eye, it's going to leak out. Nothing ever leaked out like that, right?
Nice.
Nothing ever. It's just now after the documentary, now you want to come out and say all this stuff. Now he's alleging that Jordan only put out the documentary to prove that he's better than LeBron. I'm just like, which he is, but it was just like, how about
a lot of people accuse Jordan of putting out the documentary to protect his legacy.
But you gotta understand, like the timing of the documentary is better. It's better to me to release it during the pandemic, right? Like there's no sports. But I thought that was perfect.
No, almost everything was good during like the pandemic, right? So
you had the entire nation, probably, majority of the world waiting every week to see a new episode.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah.
But Pippen just sound like a hater right now, man. It's just sad the way it's evolved, man. I hope they can make it up.
It is unfortunate to see people who are considered like he's one of the top 50 greatest players of all time.
Unquestionably.
Top 75 greatest players of all time. It is unfortunate to see people who you looked up to kind of have these childish bickerings, right? So from that standpoint, I definitely agree with you.
I mean, he's got his own like amazing legacy, right? So instead of like putting everybody else down to prop yourself up, just tell your story because you have an awesome story. You made, you messed up on that contract or whatever, but I mean, I think he still ended up making more money than Michael Jordan basketball wise anyway. So
that's true.
I think so because Jordan wasn't getting paid until later on. I think it was something like that, but he wasn't making a whole lot either. But yeah, so I mean, I definitely won't be buying that book. I probably will rewatch The Last Dance.
Tell us how you feel. Speaking of like two people, I didn't want to mention this. I'll mention this for like 2 seconds because I wanted to talk about this like when it was hot a couple weeks ago. Aaron Rodgers, this motherfucker, this guy. Oh God, I really liked Aaron Rodgers. He just seemed like a down to earth, good guy. Seemed like he was intelligent, had a good head on his shoulders. This guy
I think he got tricked by these State Farm commercials.
Well, he was on Jeopardy, right? He was like thinking about hosting Jeopardy and shit. Like I was hoping, like maybe he might be a quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. Maybe we'll see. But he's talking about, I'm unvaccinated. Well, he lied. He straight lied about it. They asked him, "Are you vaccinated?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm inoculated." Like, with what? And I mean, of course, he goes off some BS about like, "Oh yeah, I'm inoculated and but other people have gotten the vaccine and they've got COVID, and like that's not the point of the vaccine, but whatever, right? And he made some BS about like how I'm trying to become a father, and that he doesn't want to um like he wants to have healthy sperm, I suppose. And it's interesting, like
Sound like Nicki Minaj and her brother, right? That story that she told
like
about her
I think
brother.
it's a brother or a cousin. It's like, yeah,
Like, fam.
I heard the vaccine enlarged the testicles. That's what my brother said. Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. But we can talk Kyrie Irving in the sense that Kyrie Irving, as misguided as he is, Kyrie Irving, who graduated from like Conspiracy University, who thinks they're worth it, or who thinks you're on the fringe parts of like YouTube where he gets all his conspiracy theories. Like he's a good guy, right? Like one thing about Kyrie Irving is that during the pandemic, he actually paid WNBA salaries, which I actually thought
Yeah.
was pretty dope. So it's unfortunate for Kyrie Irving because he's misguided, right? But still, he stands up for what he believes in, even if it's misguided and just false, right? He stood up for his belief, and he's taking consequences of his actions, right? Unlike Aaron Rodgers here, who lied and then went around unmasked, being in huddles, doing whatever, like being a possible carrier, right?
Yep.
Not help anyone who was like immunocompromised who couldn't get the vaccine and would suffer heavily from it. Like that's just really fucked up, right? So yeah, I wanted to kind of mention that a little bit.
Well, you
Um,
just have to look at how it's like Kyrie was almost like vilified for refusing to take the
yeah,
vaccine, right? And here you have Aaron Rodgers. I'm not quite seeing the same reaction, right? I mean, the
well,
man lied about it, but I still see, just like a lesser thing. I
yeah,
think what
fair
he had to
enough.
pay a fine and something else, but
The
it's just
Green Bay
like,
Packers had to pay a fine too. Um, Yeah, granted, two different leagues. The things that I watch, right? Like he was vilified hard, right? Like Aaron Rodgers. So, and I think he complained about it
yeah,
too, about cancel culture and all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, f that dude, like for that, like seriously, like just that's just like totally
yeah,
messed
just
up.
don't play then. I mean, if you're gonna do like Kyrie, if you're gonna stand by that,
Well,
then
yeah,
then don't
Kyrie's
play.
losing money though, I think. I mean, I've heard the weird reports, right? So he's losing money about I don't know if he's losing money or not losing money or getting like paid in full. I mean, obviously Aaron Rodgers isn't gonna play. He doesn't even want to be in Green Bay. But like don't be a dick. Like just like that's what I'm saying.
Oh my god.
I'm actually telling my friend not to talk about my the wedding right now. Uh,
It's funny how the people who, they're like, if they don't want to get vaccinated, they don't talk about like their body and their choice. But God forbid you talk about abortion and say the same thing, right?
yeah, absolutely. Right. Um, it's oh God. It's just it makes me woe is me for the human race, right? Like if we can't get past like this right here doesn't give me much hope for us at all. Like seriously,
Yeah,
right?
I don't know.
This is easy. Like people be packing up talking about like, oh, ready for the zombie apocalypse, and all that stuff. This is like the easy stuff. Wear a mask, get vaccinated. Easy, easy. And we can't do it. And how are we gonna solve like harder problems like global warming? That's a hard problem to solve, right? That's really hard. The technology that we need to solve that problem hasn't been made yet, right? We have a lot of work ahead of us for that, right? Um, and we can't get past this shit, right? Like it's frustrating. It's very very frustrating.
Yo,
Uh,
speaking of global events, right? I'm gonna skip to something real quick.
Yeah.
Did you hear about how I think it was like the UN basically put out a plea to the world's billionaires
Oh,
about how they could solve the world's hunger if they had like I think it was like
$6 billion.
$6.6 billion.
Yeah.
And so Elon Musk, this is why I like Elon Musk.
Fresh. You like it? Well, okay.
He does
He's
he does
he's a
some
bit of a troll. He's a troll.
yeah, he does some asshole he's made some asshole moves. I mean, there's no,
Yeah.
you know, but
Yeah.
he was quick to be like, you know what? If you can prove it, I'll sell the stock and make it so that, you know, make and give you the money, prove it.
Yeah.
And so they sent out a deal to him
Yeah.
to show. Well, I won't say they sent out the deal, but they opened the books to show how it could be done. So I'm curious to see if it's actually going to go through.
He did. So he put a Twitter poll, Elon Musk. Now we're on the something Elon Musk for. We'll talk about that douche for a second. This car is amazing, by the way, the Tesla. Most valuable car company in the world. It just dipped under $1 trillion in valuation recently, but that's just because he sold his stock. But he sold he pulled his Twitter to sell stock, sell his stock, right? And like the Twitter said, yes, I'm gonna like you should sell your stock, right? But even like before he pulled his Twitter, they showed like he already planned on selling a stock like in September. He pulled Twitter in like I think October, like early November, whatever, right? But it was September where he actually already prepared to share stock, like to sell stock. And I think a lot of it's because of tax reasons, because he's now in Texas now, right? So he's in Texas, like not as much taxes in Texas, right? So it's a very like a shrewd a thing that he's doing.
Yeah.
Whatever. I wouldn't mind a car, a
Funny.
Tesla car. I can't follow how good his cars are, but he's a character, but that character is what made it is what got him to where he is, right? That's what people have been trying to short sell his stock for years. I bought that Tesla stock at $54, right? I sold it at like $200, right?
Yeah,
that thing's over 1,000, right? So, and I sold it because he was in trouble with the SEC and just all this just douchebag stuff, and a lot of people were short selling it, but he beat them all. So, yeah.
I definitely jumped in on Tesla, but yeah, I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, that was good stuff. All right, let's talk about it.
All right, let's talk about your role in Bridesmaids. Bridesmaids 2.
Here it is.
Bridesmaids 2.
All right. So as you guys know, right, one of my closest friends, right, got married over the weekend. She did me the honor. She honored me by I was honored to stand by her on her wedding day. And I was actually on the bride side. So I was a bridesman, right? Actually looked at she asked me like during the like when she was planning all this, like what's your title, like what do you call yourself? And I'm like, I literally looked it up and I was like, bridesman. I'm like, okay, fine, sure, that's it.
I saw the pictures. You all look very nice in your dresses. You held it very well.
Screw you. I forgot to post a picture for like my suit. I've been just recovering, but yeah, I took a flu shot that Monday. And it got progressively worse. And I mean, it's a pandemic. You don't want to be coughing and sneezing in front of anybody because it's just super sketch. Though I will say this, like, and I was doing my best to like just keep it together. And I did for the ceremony. The ceremony was outside. It was like 44 degrees. Like it was cold. Like did not help like whatever was going on with me at all. But so yeah, I would say this, like the people were very nice, very, very nice.
Did you walk down like arm in arm before that?
No, I did not. I did. That's a good one, right? It was one by one. So like all the brides and
If I
grooms.
was on the other side, I'm like, there's no way I'm walking down with that guy. Y'all, I know. I refuse.
I will tell you this though. I will tell you this. So I didn't the groom, well now her husband, um he was making fun of me because I already said he was making fun of me. Nicholas just started laughing. So obviously I don't have to hold a bouquet, right?
We don't know. I mean, I'm assuming. I thought you did. I mean, that's what
Well, I
bridesmaids do,
did.
right?
I
They hold the
did. I
bouquet.
did hold. So I held the bride's bouquet while she was giving her. Um, I was holding the bride's bouquet while she was giving her vows. Like no. So what happened is, I'll talk about the ceremony a little bit. And what happened? So all the brides and the grooms and brides like walked up, right? I was right next to her. They ordered it by height, so I was the tallest person in the bridal party there.
It's
Um,
cute.
for you.
If you weren't the
Um,
tallest person in the bridal party, that would have been a whole other thing.
uh, I'm actually fairly tall. Oh, I'm in normal height, 5'10". So, um, yeah. There's this thing called like the floofing of
Were you
the
straightening out the
dress.
dress?
The straightening out
Were
the
you?
dress. I did not straighten out the dress. So it was so funny because we were doing the rehearsal and it's like, okay, and someone has to flip the dress, and everyone looks at me and I'm like, what?
Bridesman. Let's go.
Yeah. No, but the bride, her really good friend, like was like, I'll poof the dress. So she like poofed the dress. So it's actually pretty funny. Um, so but I did hold her like her bouquet, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know I was gonna be holding her for that long. Like it was a good 30 minutes I was holding it. It's like, got this bouquet right here. What?
So at the reception, let me ask you this: at the reception, were you out there with the other bachelors to catch the joint, or were you out there with the bridesmaids to catch the bouquet? I'm
uh
trying to figure out
they
which
didn't
side.
do that. They didn't
Did you
do
take your
that.
pick?
They didn't do that. Screw you. That's hilarious. What's funny,
No garter throw
all
for
of her
you.
friends are married. All of her friends are married, by the way. So that's
Oh, okay,
one reason
okay.
why they probably didn't do that. I did help out with like the bridesmaid stuff. So took pictures with the brides, did all that. I did they were getting their makeups done. I know you're gonna make a joke about this. Thank God I did not have to get like man, I
They
didn't get my makeup done.
probably you know they hit you with some foundation
They did
for the
not hit me with any
pictures. It's for the
foundation.
pictures.
Did not get any makeup. I did, but I felt like I'm happy I would never like be a bridesmaid. Like seriously, like because that's a lot of effing work. Because they had to go, they got their makeups done, their hair done. They had to like be at like some place at like 9 o'clock, and like the wedding is until like 4. So you're at this place for like hours, getting your makeup and your hair done, and it's just a lot to do. And I was just kind of helping, like just bringing like the necessary things uh, for that. So there was that. Um, it was a great ceremony. Got to meet up some old friends, which I was excited to see them. One interaction. So a few people came up to me after reception. Was like, "Oh, you did such a good job, right? Like, oh, you did such a great job, and like this and this. Like, you did a great job as the bridesmaid. Like, you did great." I'm like, I just stood there, but it is what it is. I'm just happy I didn't cough or like screwed up or anything, so it's pretty good. Um, it was cold as shit though. I felt sorry for the women because they came out in dresses. I had a suit on, right? I had like a
Yeah.
layered suit, 3-piece suit. They were out there in dresses. It was like 44 degrees outside.
That's
So
just messed
like
up,
I'm sure
man.
they didn't plan for that. Yeah, I didn't plan for that obviously, but no, shout out to like the bridesmaids there. They did their thing. It was awesome. And the bride, like it was cold. It was very cold.
Yeah.
the reception. So, like I said, I had a few people come up to me. I was like, "So wait, you're the bridesman. You did a great job. Like this is X, Y, and Z." And that was pretty cool. The funniest interaction, right? It was an old elder couple, friend of like the groom, right? Elder southern guys, um, and like again, I was like, I'm like have running nose, sneezing, like I don't want to like interact with people, but the guy wanted to talk to me, so I spoke with him. Very nice guy, but he's like, yeah, I mean, he's like, yeah, I think you did a great job as, that, and I mean, you gotta show some a lot of confidence. You must have a lot of confidence to be able to stand up there and do that. Um, which I thought was funny. Which I thought was funny because I feel like he probably figured out that I wasn't gay, which is the reason why he said that, right? Which I thought was funny. But I told him, and this is true, right? Like it didn't really matter how I felt because I was pretty much standing by a friend, a really good friend of mine, right? So I was definitely very honored to kind of be a part of that. And she honored me like by allowing me to stand by her. So I definitely would have done it
Yeah.
as many times if I would have, right? Because she's just good people. Um, so like they both honored me by doing that. But I thought that was actually pretty interesting to kind of see so many people kind of come up and kind of ask me about that. Like definitely, I thought that interaction was actually pretty hilarious,
It's a
right?
conversation starter. So,
Yeah,
brides,
brides,
men,
man,
maid of
yeah.
honor, man of honor, maid of honor. You said
I, I I got that one too. I got that one too. So you said the man of honor, right? The man of honor. I mean, you're right by her, right? You're right next to
I
her.
would have been dying. I would
Yeah.
have been dying, man.
So
Because it's funny
yeah,
because it's
if I wasn't feeling too bad, like during the whole like deal, I would definitely would have had more fun with it.
yeah.
But no, it was good. Got to meet her friends, the bridesmaids. They were all fantastic. The grooms were fantastic. They had great food. They're from Texas, so you know they had to have great food. They had great food there.
Did they do
Uh,
barbecue or were they like doing the
I'm sure they
steaks?
did barbecue. They
Okay.
did barbecue. They did steaks. They did everything, right?
Okay.
Um, like the groom is huge into whiskey, so they had a lot of bourbon and
Oh,
scotch.
nice.
So a lot of that going on. So yeah, I do want to talk a little bit about like so the wedding was in Lexington, right?
Lexington,
Um,
Texas.
no, Lexington, Virginia. So 3.5 hours away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Lexington, Virginia. No, not 3.5 hours, like less than 3 hours away. I stayed, it's in a very nice place. It's called Abigail Inn, right? It's a very nice, like kind of owned like it's a
It's
home
like a bed and
owned
breakfast.
yeah. Yeah. That's actually exactly what I'll call it, right? They had like a pre-party there too, which I thought was actually really cool. Um but it's owned and run operated by this couple like French immigrants. One the woman's from Tahiti and the male I forgot exactly where he's from, but French immigrants. But the funny thing, well, funny or not, the groom or the groom, right, he went to Washington and Lee, right? Washington and Lee being Robert E. Lee, right? So that's kind of what that area is about. The room I stayed in was called the Lee, like the Robert E. Lee room. So I stayed in the Robert E. Lee room, and there's like a huge ass picture of like Robert E. Lee, like kind of staring at me. Yeah. And it had like all these like little like Confederate like little things, and I was like, oh my god, how am I in this room right now? Which was funny. Um, some other ladies that was staying in the same inn uh was in the Stonewall Jackson in his like part as well.
God.
So yeah, there was a Washington. I mean, it plays part of like the whole that area, right? Washington Lee. There was like a Washington room too. I mean, I wish that area would just kind of let go of Robert E. Lee, but I thought that was actually a pretty funny like thing. So it's like I'm probably sure Robert Lee's smiling now. It's like I'm staying in a room with him right now.
Oh my
Free,
god.
successful black man like staying in his room. Like,
Y'all
well,
won?
yeah, we won. We won.
Oh my
They don't
god.
want to believe it, but we won. All right. So yeah, that was my experience though. So it was actually pretty cool.
What's up, man? Good for you. Good for them. Wish them all the best.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Thank you guys for having me. Wish you guys all the best. Yeah, love you guys. And can't wait to see you guys soon.
Oh yeah, you had to make a speech, right? You had to make a speech?
I did not make a speech. So I was going to
What?
make a speech.
Oh,
No, no one made a speech.
boo.
Excuse me. That's so funny. Nobody made a speech. And we were thinking about that, like the bridal party was like, so who's making a speech? Are you making a speech? Am I making a speech? I was like, shit, I don't want to make a speech. So I thought up of something that I was gonna say.
Yeah.
But I think the bride's father made a speech, right? And I think that was the speech like they were gonna give, right? Like the best man or none of the guys made a speech. I would have been more than happy to have made a speech. But yeah, no, it was a great wedding. I was definitely so happy. I was so happy to be a part of it. So
Good
definitely wish them
stuff,
all.
man. That's dope.
Cool. So yeah. Also, big day for you tomorrow.
It is.
Happy birthday.
Time.
Yeah. What is it? Like 49, 40, 48? This how
29.
29? 29 plus 11 years. So
29
yeah.
plus 2. But
Yeah. No. So but also jokes aside, happy birthday. Very happy for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been an honor getting to know you. Who would have thought us getting to know each other at,
man,
Deloitte would be here years later.
Right?
It's amazing how those interactions kind of you say you hold on to that, right? So
yeah, man.
So yeah.
It's funny how that happens like that.
Yeah, no, it's good to kind of continue that stuff. So no, that's great. That's great. Okay. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover.
I think I did too. Let me double check my
list.
My agenda here. In 1 second.
It was actually fairly quick.
It was a good, succinct episode.
Yeah, we did good.
Oh yeah, that was it.
Yeah, I don't think I had everything else. Oh, we can talk a little bit about the new No Way Home trailer for a little bit.
Or do you want to? I'm gonna have to say, well, no, because if we save it, then the movie would be out by the time. We can talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, so we're not gonna have another episode for a minute because I'm gonna be in Louisiana next week. I mean, I could probably do one from Louisiana, but I don't know what you and your family's doing next week.
No, I won't be. I won't be available.
Okay.
Well, we can do one the week after, though.
Yeah, maybe the week after that'll work. But yeah, let's talk. Did you see the No Way Home trailer? So we're talking some Marvel goodness here.
Yeah,
what'd you think?
I think that. I mean, it's looking like it's going to be good, man. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the odds are definitely stacked against our hero here. So,
that's one of the things I've liked about like Spiderman and like the Sinister Six. Well, I mean, they're not doing that for this one, I don't think. But
it's almost like they're gonna have a version of it though. I did in the trailer, it did look like they were gonna have a version of Sinister Six. So I saw the Lizard, so you saw Doc Ock, you got Green Goblin, you got everybody everybody that fell against Spider-Man. So I mean, and then you had it looks like what was crazy to me is that it looks like you have black suit Spider-Man.
Yeah. So I was watching a review of that earlier today. They say that suit is actually reversed inside out. because like someone like threw paint on it earlier or whatever. That's what I saw from that. Uh, it also showed. I mean, I'm not gonna try to spoil it for you, but there are some toys that kind of show like a possible suit, and it's like mixed with like gadgets from like the Sanctum Sanctorum, right?
Yeah.
That box that Doctor Strange was carrying. I'm thinking that's where they're trying to catch all the criminals and
Yeah.
kind of get them stuck in that box. It looked to me that what's his name? Doc Ock was caught in that box because when he was asking him in the trailer, like, "What's your name?" "I'm Doc Ock," and like he looked like he was
He
stuck
was like,
behind
I'm
something.
Dr. Otto Octavius. They were like, no,
Yeah,
what's your name? I thought
yeah.
that was funny
Which
as
they've
hell.
made a joke about that too, right? So
Yeah.
in Infinity War, it's like, oh, these are made up names. I'm Spider-Man.
Yeah. I thought that
So
was pretty good. I think so the movie is based on the brand new, it was like One More Day or Brand New Day storyline for
yeah.
Spider-Man, which I hated. Okay. I hated
Mhm.
that storyline. So I'm interested to see how it turns out because instead of them using Mephisto to kind of wind back the clock and redo things, they
Yeah.
use Doctor Strange. And of
Well, so
course,
there is a storyline, I forgot the name of it, where he messes up like he messes up in Doctor Strange like is involved with like a mess up of a multiverse, right? So there's a storyline for that. I'll have to look that up and maybe when we talk about it again, we'll
maybe we can. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
yeah, we'll
I just
talk about
remember
that.
like Brand New Day. He basically goes to Mephisto at this point in his life. Everyone knows that he's Spider-Man because of Civil War. This is after Civil War.
Yeah.
And like some stuff has happened, his family's being threatened, this, that, and the third. And he asked basically for everything to be forgotten. But with that comes the fact that Mary Jane will then forget who he is.
Yeah.
And this is right after they got married. So this, it should be interesting to see how they handle that. Because there's this joke that they make about Spider-Man, right? Or Peter Parker, and it's called, he has something called Parker luck, right? It's just because there's always all this bad stuff that happens to him, like all the time. Like this guy never has a
Yeah.
happy ending. If he isn't broke, then he's losing his job. In the comics, he becomes a millionaire, but he's only like a millionaire for like no time at all, then loses it all.
Yeah.
So I mean, so odds stacked against him. I saw the scene where it looked like Mary Jane is falling.
Yeah.
That scene looked to copy one from the comic books where Gwen Stacy fell off a bridge and he had to save her. But
Well,
instead
it's
of
also in
saving
the
her,
movie too, right? The second
she died.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, she died.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh snap, like is Mary Jane gonna die?
Yeah.
Because she died in that storyline. So
Yeah. Yeah.
there's a lot going on in that movie, man. And Tom Holland has come out saying that it's not going to be an upbeat, with the usual upbeat, his hero movie from Marvel. So
Yeah.
it may
Well,
be a
it
change
says
in the formula here.
it's No Way Home. So what we know is that he's going to be in a few more MCU movies, like at least two or three more, and one of them being a team up movie for sure. It makes me
Okay,
wonder.
he was acting like it was his last hurrah. So I don't know.
No,
I
he's
don't
gonna be
know.
in a couple. We know for sure he's gonna be in a couple because like after Far From Home, that was it, right? That was like you got your Spider-Man 5 movies, it's done, right? So once it was announced like Spider-Man's done going to be in the MCU, obviously there's a huge backlash. And I know it's seeming that he's that this might be his last hurrah, but we do know that he's going to be in a couple movies. I don't know if they're going to try to transfer him over to a different universe. I don't know if you've seen the Morbius trailer.
I saw that
Uh,
there was a call to Spider-Man in that
there's
trailer.
lots of not only calls, they actually showed a freaking photo of Spider-Man, an actual photo of him on like the poster of multiple
Yeah.
Spider-Man. So Yeah, that's gonna be a very interesting story. Uh, I haven't watched any of the Venom movies, because I thought Venom without Spider-Man makes no sense. But they did say that Venom was transferred into the MCU at the end of his last movie,
Yes,
Victim of the Carnage. So it's
I
gonna
gotta
be really
watch that one.
interesting. There's
Yeah,
there's a lot. There's a lot. And you only have at most 3 hours, right? Like,
yeah.
so yeah, I'm
Let's see.
really
Yeah,
interested to see how that works out. So
sure, man.
uh yeah. Oh, pretty cool stuff. All right, so yeah, let's do this again. This is good. Great episode, good talk. For the guys who's watching, thank you for watching. If you're listening, thank you for listening. Um we're on Anchor, right?
That's right.
Uh,
This episode will be posted hopefully by next week on
yes,
Anchor, and then you'll be able to find it on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, et cetera, et cetera. So
yes,
we appreciate y'all.
yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. All right, see you guys. Bye.
Later.